So we'll go over here. There's the Elecmar sales data and Elecmar sales finished. So we're going to download both of these files here. The finished version has all the finished pivot tables, so it's a nice reference. We're going to do our work on the data file. We're going to do our work. Oh, okay. And also, this is a good time to bring up something, and that is a pivot table source data checklist. So I'm going to just kind of show you what this says. So I'm going to just pull it up on the screen and show you what it says. So this is a there's a person who has a nice kind of set of tutorials on YouTube. And he has a website. It's excelcampus.com, and so he has the nice document, nice checklist for the pivot table. So what this means is that by source, we mean the data that we're using to build a pivot table. So data that we're using to build a pivot table. So to build a proper pivot table, okay, your data has to be in a proper format. Okay, so remember how we did this? We just went to our data, and then we just said insert pivot table, and then it knew to select the right range for your data, and that's because our data was in a nice format, in that it was all in one piece. Our data was all in one piece. We didn't have any blank rows or blank columns in our data. So if this is going to select the connected data, right? Connected data. So if I had some blank row here, then it would have selected only up to here, right? So that would not work. So it's got to have a, okay. So anyway, so let's kind of quickly go through this right here. So the checklist, okay, as he mentions here, I guess eight things, 8 items. Okay, so you want to have a kind of clean data set in order to build a pivot table. So you might need to clean up your data first. If you have something like this, you got the blank row here, that's a big no-no. No blank rows and no blank columns like this. And then you shouldn't have a, here these are the numbers, but they're stored as a text. They're stored as a text. And so then that's not going to work. Pivot table is not going to work. Okay, so for instance, I mean, this kind of thing happens when you read some data from some external source, and it might be converted. When it converts from the other source to the Excel, it might be converted into some kind of text file. So you might have, oops, let's see. So you might have something like this, So if I look over here, so if you look over here, so it's 2 and 3. These look like numbers, but they are actually stored as text. So if you try to do something like, do some math, arithmetic operations, then it's going to give you something that doesn't make any sense, because it's not treating the 2 and 3 as numbers, treating them as a text. Okay, and then of course let's not screw up your pivot table. You gotta make sure it's all in a proper format. If you have numbers, they should be stored as numbers. Usually it gives you a little warning here, like it says numbers stored as text. So then you would need to change it. Okay, and let's see. So I can go back here. Okay, so and the table. Tabular format. Tabular format just means that you have the first row has the headings, and the first row has the labels for your columns, and then you have all the data. And so there should be only one row of headers that describe the data. Okay, and all values of the same data type need to be in one column. So in one column, you should have the same data type. Okay, so like here, all numbers, and then here, all text, for instance. And then maybe there's one column that has only trues and falses. So in each column, you should have the same data type, Okay, so like numeric, or all non-numeric, and or maybe all dates. Okay, and remove blank rows, as I already mentioned here. Okay, and there are no blank columns. And convert value fields to numbers. Okay, and so watch out for the text numbers are stored as text. So change those. convert date fields to dates. So date fields to dates. So okay, like here, what happened is that like there's a little green arrow here, so that usually means that it's stored. It looks like a date, but Excel is not going to recognize it as a date. So it's stored as a text, so it's not going to be able to do the special operations for the pivot table that you could do for the dates. Okay, so dates should be stored as dates, stored as dates, and what else? We got the date fields should not contain blanks, so all the dates should be filled in. Okay, or you're gonna have trouble grouping. You're gonna have trouble grouping if there are some blank dates there. And rename the column headers. So column headers, just have a nice, easy to interpret names for your fields, and put your source data in a table. Practice. Okay, you guys know that part. And source in a table. Okay, so you guys know about the tables, right? So table. So that's a kind of recommended practice for data. So if you have data that you want to do lots of analysis on, you might sort, you might filter, you might build pivot tables with this. It is a good practice to make it into a table first. So table, and so that's just you just need to go over. So here, how do you make it a table? So first we're going to check, okay, everything looks good. Well, it should be good because I told you it's good. So these are, that's good. And I'm going to just click any cell here, and then I'm going to say Control T. Control T to make it into a table, create a table. Or you could just go over to, okay, where's the table? Oh, there it is. Yeah, format as a table. Okay, well then I would have to actually select it first and then the format as a table. But the shortcut is the Control T and automatically selects there, and my table is there. Okay, so let's say, okay, so here is my table. Okay, so as we briefly discussed before, the nice thing about this is that now it's just treating the entire data region as kind of like a one piece. And they're gonna all kind of hang together. And when you add data, when you add more data here, it's going to, let's say I want to add and Tuesday and afternoon and so forth. That it automatically extends the table. So you could see here now it's treating this row as a part of the table. So it's like, here's a new member, and it's kind of like, okay, now you come in here, you stick with us. And so now here is a extended table. Okay, but anyway, I'm gonna delete this. Okay. Now I'm going to, and you could see here, of course, you will have all this filter, sort filter kind of down arrows. So it's very easy to do sorting and filtering. Okay, so anyway, so what is this about? So again, that's optional. Making it into a table is optional, but it's just a convenient thing you might want to do before you build a pivot table. So this has 400 customer orders during the period of several months for the Electmart company. This is kind of mail order company. Think of like a place like Amazon. And we want to use pivot tables to summarize the data. And we have here, okay, so you got here dates, the dates of the order, the day of the order, what time the order was placed online, or what time of the day, and where the customer is coming from, and what kind of credit card they used, the male, female, by category, and what is this? It says here, okay, this is here, category of customer based on past buying behavior. So there's big customers and little customers, depending on how much they bought before. And items ordered. This is the number of items ordered, and the total cost, total amount of the order, and cost of the most expensive items on this purchase. Okay, so in the remaining time, we're gonna probably won't have time to go over all these, but we'll go over some of these. Okay, so build a pivot table, for instance. to find the sum of the total cost broken down by the time of day and the region of country. So this time we're going to try having two row labels. So both the time and the region, we're going to make both of them row labels because, well, we're allowed to do that. And so that's another, alternative configuration. So sum of total cost, okay, that's going to be, so it's going to be something like this, right? So let me try to make a picture of what it should look like. So it's going to be like the sum of total cost, right? Sum of total cost is going to be here, and time of day and the region of country. And they're both row labels, so we'll have to go time of day and also region. Okay, something like that. So we'll go build a pivot table, insert pivot table, and I'm gonna say okay. And sum of total cost. Where's the total cost? Total cost over here. I'm gonna stick it into the values. So this is your grand total. That's your grand total. And now let's break it down into the time of day and the region. So time of day is over here, like afternoon, morning, whatever. Right, so stick it into the rows. Now we got the so that's got broken down based on the time of the day, afternoon, evening, and morning. And from this, it looks like morning is the where you have the highest total amount of purchase in the morning. So lots of shopping done in the morning for some reason. Then now what about the regional differences? So we're going to pull down the region below the time here to have a sort of sub row. So now we got for each time of the day, now we have it all broken down into the regions. Okay, so in the afternoon, we got Midwest, Northeast, Southwest, and so these are the totals, total cost. So from this, so we could say, what is this amount? About $3,000 sold in the Midwest during the afternoon. Okay, so Midwest customers from Midwest bought about $3,200 worth in the afternoon. And then which afternoon? Well, all the afternoons, that are in our data. Okay, and then the total for the afternoon is about $24,000. And then evening we have about $19,000 total. And then how is that broken into in terms of regions? So here's the breakdown. So if I add up these amounts, I should get about $18,800. So it's like dividing up the data into kind of smaller and smaller pieces. So you could have done it, you could have done it with like maybe one variable could be in the rows, the other could be in the columns. So that's perfectly acceptable. But I'm showing you so there's different ways of presenting your data. Okay. And now what else? We want to modify the pivot table so that the region is now a column field. Okay, so you just have to go, modify this, column field. What's the region? Right? So region is a column field. So what do you have to do here? Just quick one swipe, quick one move. One quick move. Okay. So region, take this, and where do I put it? Okay, just move it there. Okay, well, there it is, here. So that's another way to represent it. And of course, okay, maybe I should make these into a number, kind of currency format, value field settings, and number format, and the currency. Okay, so that's that. And maybe I want to turn this into kind of outline format, the design. Format, so I have the time and the region labels. Okay, so that's that. And then what else? What else do we want? So we did one, we did two. Okay, now filter. Filter the pivot table by day of the week. Again, let me just show you here. The finished version is over here, and we have. Okay, yeah, we have this stuff. We have all these things here. And here's the question. Okay, I think.
Wait a second. filtering it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we do it.
I think it's the. Okay. Well, anyway, so I think it's maybe I might have changed something after the question and the answer, but I think most of these should be the consistent. Okay, by day of the week, filter the pivot table by day of the week. Okay, so it says place a variable in the filter area. Okay, so let's see. So for this one, maybe I'm gonna just kind of copy this and then put it here. Okay, put it here. And the day of the week. Okay. So day of the week. Is it the date or the day?
It's the day of the week.
Day of the week, so it's a day. So do you see this filters area here? Oh, yeah, so let's try putting the day over here. What happened? Did it change? Was there a change? Oh, I got this little extra bonus thing here, a filter. So it says day all. So now this gives you a filter. This gives you a filter. And now here you could select the day you want. Okay, so suppose I want to know, I just want the data from Sunday. I just want Sunday's purchases represented here. So then I could just select. So go to that little down arrow and then select Sunday. And then say OK. And now amounts are much smaller because now I only have the Sundays, my Sundays data. Okay, so this is a sum of only the Sundays purchases that you are being given here. Now, what if I want to know like for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday? Saturday and Sunday. What do I do here? Oh, it looks like I got select multiple items, so I can check that. That gives me my little check boxes. So I already selected Sunday. Now I'm going to select Saturday. So select both Saturday and Sunday. And that gives me now Saturday and Sunday. So these are the amounts purchased during only Saturdays and Sundays from your data. Okay, any questions?
Wait a minute, I'm trying to figure out how to filter the days. Where did I get like the filter from? Oh yeah.
So you drag the day into the filters area.
Oh, I see now.
Yeah.
So just Sunday and Saturday, basically.
Right. Okay, so now what if I want to, let's see. So I think everybody should have this thing called a slicer. Okay, slicer. So if you have the latest Excel, you should have this special handy little thing called the slicer. And it says here, try insert slicer. That's another way of filtering. That's another way of filtering. And let's see, let me show you how it works. So I'm going to go over to insert and then slicer. You guys see that? Insert tab, slicer.
Yes.
Okay, so this gives you another filter, another way of filtering, like this here. And what I want to do, okay, so I was doing the day, so I'll stick with the day, and then okay. And you could see here, I already filtered by Saturday and Sunday, so that's what, so these are already highlighted. These are already highlighted. So suppose I want to change it. So I don't want to do Saturday and Sunday. Maybe I want to do Monday and Tuesday. Oh, how do I select these things? I think if you call down, or it is here, multi-select. That sounds promising. So select this thing, multi-select, and then click things you want to select. So Monday through Friday. So now I did a Monday through Friday after selecting this icon, clicking this little icon for multi-select. So now I have these represent the Monday through Friday purchases. And why is it so special? Now, with the advantage of the slicer is that you could see what is currently being filtered. There's already a picture there that tells you what's there, and it's kind of easy to kind of click around and select different things. Okay, and if you want to clear the filter, there's a little X box here for clearing the filter. And now all the days are shown. Okay, and if you wanna get rid of this, you just click delete. It's like a picture you could delete or cut or delete or something like that. Okay, give the average instead of sum. Okay, so let's try doing that. So here is these are the sums. These are the sums. So this kind of gives you the idea of the contribution. You know, how much contribution is coming to our revenue, coming from the different regions and in the different times of the day. But sometimes we want to find the average. You know, what is the average? What is the average per purchase? What is the average per order? Average cost per order, like, you know, how big are the purchases? Maybe in the afternoon they make bigger purchases, you know, who knows. And so let's look at the average size of the order. So for that, we just have to go over to field settings, and instead of sum, what do? You click on the average, so that's okay, so that's it. So this is the average size of each purchase, right? So you could see here, okay, well, is there something to answer here? What is the average total cost for the South? What is the average for the South? Okay, well, let's go and answer that. For the South is over here, right? South. Okay, so what is the average for the South? Well, we know in the afternoon it's this, evening this, morning is that, but the overall average for South is $144. So we will just read off this number under South. Okay, so 144.41. So that's one. And then what is the average total cost for the Northeast? That should be easy too. Northeast, what's that?
Yeah, that's equal to $66.
All right, there it is, 166.83. Okay, 166.83. And what is the average total cost for Saturday morning? Saturday morning. What? Saturday? What? I don't have wait, do I have the days of the week? Oh, there, okay, here. Okay, so I could just go Saturday. Okay, so let it just show Saturday. So now these are all just Saturday purchases, and morning is over here. Morning is over here, so it must be, is it this one, I think? Yeah, morning, right? Morning. 166.1. 166.1 over here. Okay. That's it. Over here. Okay, so from these kind of things, you could make conclusions like, you know, who are the big spenders, and like the Northeast, they tend to, you know, buy more. They tend to spend more per purchase. 167 versus the South, where they spend 144 per purchase. Okay, so that gives you some information you could use. Okay, now change the average to count to see how many orders were placed in each region at different times of the day. Okay, region, different times of the day. Okay, we just need to change the average to count. So here, what do? I got here average of total cost. So remember we said if you just want to count, it doesn't matter which column heading you use. So I just have to change this thing to count, field settings, and then just count. That's it, count, and then okay, and well, dollars, that $1, $2. No, they're supposed to be counts. Like, okay, so I got rid of the dollar signs here. So go over to field settings and number format, and just a number. Oops, not this. Just a number, or you could, I think general should work. So no decimal places, because I'm just showing the count. So number, okay. And okay, so okay, that makes more sense. It's a count. Okay, so what now? Does this answer the question? What was the question? Percent column to see for each region percent of orders placed at different times of the day. Okay, wait. Okay, let me figure this. Let's figure this out. And so percent of column, and we want to see for each region percent of orders placed at different times of the day. So that would mean something like in Northeast, right? What percent of orders are placed, let's say, in the morning, for instance? I think that's the kind of question we're asking here, right? So for each region, I want to know what percent of the orders are placed in the morning, in the evening, and in the afternoon. Okay, so and it says gives you a clue, percent of column. Okay, so let's go over try that. Okay, because each region is a column, so we want to express it like that divided by that, and so forth. And another thing is, do I need to do something here? Oh yeah, so I just have Saturdays, but I want all the days. So we say all, and then okay. Okay, so now this is all the purchases. Okay, now we could do value field settings. Then show values as what? What percent of column? Right. And okay, so okay. Does this seem appropriate? So I have for each region, I have a percent breakdown for different times of the day. So I could say in the Northeast, about 30% of the orders are placed in the evening, about 42% are placed in the afternoon, and so forth. So then these numbers add up to 100%. And we want the breakdown for each region, so that makes sense. So each region, the numbers should add up to 100%.